Everybody, and welcome to Badge Banter, where we feature some incredible stories about the value of the ID badge in organizations across the country. And we feature some of our best channel partners and also industry friends. So I'm Lindsay Martin-Nez from Badge Pass, and I am super excited to introduce today's guest, who is become one of my good friends in the security industry. This is Angie Barnes, the Chief Revenue Officer from Evolon. Thank you so much for being here today, Angie.
Oh, Lindsay, it's just always so great to spend time with you on a podcast, cup of coffee, whatever we get a chance to do. So thanks for letting me come today.
Well, thank you for coming and chatting with me today. You always have such good insights to share. Before we kind of dive into some of our questions, can you just explain for our listeners a little bit about what Evolon does?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been with Evolon. I was on the integration side for about 19 years. And in January, I joined Evolon as the Chief Revenue Officer. And we're a proactive video monitoring company that is, doing live video monitoring and perimeter monitoring. Most of the time, right from the edge of the cameras, but also through a bridge sometimes. And the reason I joined, Lindsay, was I felt like the industry was making a shift from that reactive to proactive, and I am loving it. I am loving it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Awesome. Well, like you said, you've been with Evolon for just a few months, but you've been in the security industry as a whole for pretty much a long time.
Long time. Yeah, I
Because you
always say,
started when you were like 12,
yeah,
right? That's
you're so wonderful, Lindsay.
uh,
I'm gonna do these podcasts every week just to feel like I'm, built up. 30 years at least. But you and I have so much things in common. But I really started in college newspaper in my career. I tell people I had a bigger staff in college than I've ever had. So I tell people I've kind of gone downhill ever since. But
well, you've spent most of that security industry career, I mean, all of it, I guess, in sales in some capacity. And
yeah.
so, what would you say are some of the trends or changes that you're really seeing in the security industry right now that you think will have the biggest impact on our customers over the next like 3 years or so?
Yeah, good question. There's so much, and you and I are big fans of Leo Des, right? And he is on the pulse of a lot of things right now. But I think what I'm seeing are all these ecosystems that are developing. So companies that used to do it on their own are joining forces and bringing in other companies to create these small ecosystems, like a Motorola, right? I'll give them as an example. Access did it years ago with Canon, an acre, all these different people that are creating more of an ecosystem to support their networks, alarm.com, things like that. So I'm seeing that trend. And even on the integration side, right, where you're seeing a Pipe Barker, or a Cook and Boardman, or a Security 101s, they're all starting to create more of this, buying up some of the smallers to create more of a larger entity, I should say. So I'm seeing ecosystems developing on the security side. And then I mentioned just going from a reactive to a proactive. I mean, Lindsay, we all know in security, the whole goal is to stop it before ever it starts,
Right.
right? So, and that's a big part of what we do is, the safety and security of our people and our assets. And so I think there's a real big shift as well as, and coming from the access control side, Lindsay, and the badging side, is how do we utilize the existing infrastructure to add to our roadmap? You and I both have coached and taught salespeople, but one is I've always said is helping your salespeople build a technology roadmap that works today, but potentially can work in the future. So
Yeah.
you're not just grinding sales and equipment. You're really truly trying to provide a solution for that customer.
Absolutely. I think the proactive instead of reactive thing is interesting. And it's also interesting because now you're in the video space, which historically is one of the most reactive things in our industry. You put a badge on proactively to try to, deter from something, or you block a door proactively to try to deter. But then video is something usually you would look at after the fact, and with analytics and tools and alerts and things like that in video systems now, they're being utilized and monitored in a totally different way. and in much more proactive capacity. So that's interesting to see like the parallels, because we've been saying like you need to do these proactive things forever. And it's fun to see the industry shift to that same storytelling.
I love that. Yeah, and you know what? You're right on the access control side because that's always been that. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but you're 100% right. And I think what we're going to see too, Lindsay, in the next 6 months to a year is how a product like what we use on the video side will then move over to an access control side, right? So
Mhm.
you're creating triggers and things like that from too many badges or loitering or tailgating, things like that, right? That all of a sudden you're going to create different kinds of triggers using access control. So
Yep.
I think it will continue, and I think they're trying it in some ways, but I think it'll continue to morph as well. To just like you said, simply prevent it.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a fun time to be in the industry. So, a lot of our listeners are either like sales representatives or company leaders from within the security industry. So, someone who's been successful in sales in this space for so long, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to a new sales rep who is just starting their career in this space?
Yeah, you know what's funny? I've had this question in different ways, Lindsay, and of course it's always better coming from you. But But I think, and you and I, if you could think back, I mean, number one is to have the right mentor, right? We all, and you are doing such a good job at giving back on that. I need to do a better job. Sometimes I try to with my writing and a few things that I do, but the mentorship, having a critical mentor to really kind of open those doors, who's been there, done that, giving you great guidance. I think that's part of that equation. But I also was thinking to myself, you always want to find a job that's going to stretch you, right? That's really going to hone your skills and pull you out of your comfort zone. I think that is really important. We want to stay right in our comfort zone. It's so much easier to stay in our box, right? But I think if we really stretch ourselves and go into a job or a career or places that really help us grow, right? I think that we're going to find that our life will be much more successful. And so I would say a great mentor, as well as, man, shoot for the stars, swing for the fences. Don't stay in your comfort zone when looking for that next opportunity.
I
So
love that. I often tell people, like when people ask me this question on the opposite side,
yeah,
that like my advice is to say yes to a lot of things. And I think that kind of parallels what you were saying, like stretch yourself, get out
yeah,
of your comfort zone, like go to a meeting you feel like you don't deserve to be at. Like
like that.
be a part of conversations that you're like, am I experienced enough for this? Because you learn so much that way by being outside of your comfort zone or what you think you're potentially capable of early in your career. And I think that really sets you up for long-term success.
I love that. No, I need that. And I used to say that was Ritz Carlton's motto. See, you just took it over, Lindsay. Everything that Ritz Carlton, what's the answer? Yes, yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. So now it's Badge Pass's motto. We're just going to move it from Ritz Carlton to Badge Pass. It's
Perfect.
perfect.
I love it.
I love it.
So let's take that same question but a different angle. Like we've talked about the changing landscape of the security industry. New reps are one thing because they're kind of stepping in at a time when a lot of things are changing and changing faster than historically I think they've changed. But there's a lot of seasoned sales reps in the industry who've been here for a long time. Like let's just call them the guys in the Navy Blazers, which we know so many of them are. But would you have any sales advice for, I mean, even you have been in the industry for a long time. What would your advice be for your more seasoned sales professionals that are navigating this like rapidly changing, fast paced industry now?
Oh, you're so funny. I was thinking, I'm glad I didn't wear my Navy blazer today.
I've
Um,
never seen you in a Navy blazer one time.
I know, I'm joking. I'm joking. Listen, it's so funny you said this because you and I are big podcasters and we listen to a lot of podcasts. I was listening to one fantastic this morning that I actually just posted, called for strength, from strength to strength. And it was talking about an interesting topic, Lindsay, that for people that are grinders and innovators and success driven people, that when they get to that second half of their career where they really need to transition to be that mentor, that coaching, that teaching, where they've learned all of it, now they need to give back, right? So if not, they burn out. And you know what, Lindsay, I could be guilty of that 100%. I'm a hard driver. But that's where I think also my success and my happiness has come from, is where I love the servant leader approach. I love the give back. I love the coaching, but I'm very driven. So I think for those people in that part of their career is to find that in some capacity, right? It's we all are driven. We all want to be successful, but they made a comment that I thought was really profound was when you're successful enough, Lindsay, what does that look like, right? What is that? And they're saying that it really comes from, your faith, your family, your friends, and your work. And when you really have that balance, so I think that's really important to decide when you're successful enough. So I found that very, very good. And then you and I are also big fans of Jesse Cole,
Oh, I'm
right?
obsessed with them. Yes.
And a new book that I just saw that he recommended was the one called One Word that he lives and breathes by, and you have that one word, and his is truly thankful. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So he said that's when he started writing handwritten notes to all those people,
Hmm.
email thank yous, always on how he paid back the thankful and the gratitude. So I think the more, again, it resonating along the same theme is that giving back at that second part of your career, with what you've learned and what you've taken in to really get to that point of, success.
I love that. No, that's really good advice and also very deep thoughts here. Now you're making me think like when is enough? Like way to really challenge me to think of this today on a Friday morning. I was not prepared for that.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sorry. And normally I'm not that deep. See, I mean, most people that know me, I used to say, listen, don't go deep. Everything I got is right here. So
well, obviously, since you're in the video space now, you're in a slightly different sector of the security industry than Badge Pass. But because this is Badge Banter, we can't have you here and not talk about badges at least one time. Can you share a personal story, which is like what you're best at, is sharing personal stories
yeah.
of a customer that you worked with or some facility that you visited who implemented secure ID badges in a way that you thought was like really cool and you were really impressed with?
Yeah, I have to tell you, I am not, I am, for all those people in badge banner land, I am the worst person on badges. I set the record at our company, when I was at the integration side for losing the most badges ever for anybody,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
I mean, I have to tell you, so every week I'd have to go in. So I think the most success that we had was a company where, again, that implemented the ones that the badges, and and forgive me on this, Lindsay, because I am not the best at this. Where you can use it at the badges that you can use in the lunchrooms, and you can use
Yeah.
in the front doors, and you can use to buy things and everything. So where it was a multi-use card, and that was where we learned that people where we could again bring that value by how we did the card, as well as the replacement part of it, how you do it easily,
Hmm.
and things like that. Because like you said, when you have people like me on staff that every week would go up to HR and go, I can't find my badge. Or you'd be standing in the parking lot waiting for that next person to go into the building because you didn't have yours. I'm that person. I should be on the wanted poster for the most lost badges.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. That's
so
so funny. So that's literally like the story of what we do with Badge Hub, is like we help our customers understand the value of like having a central issuance platform and seamlessly sharing your credential data across like every application that uses it, time and attendance, logical access, door access. And there are chronic card losers like yourself. And what happens is when you don't have that data shared seamlessly, you create this problem called credential overflow, which is when you've got more active cards than active card holders, or in Angie's case, potentially just one card holder with many badges, unless you're deactivating them and implementing the security procedures and processes that you need to say, hey, I issued Angie a new card, her old card needs to die now. And that needs to not just happen with doors, but it needs to happen in purchasing capabilities and in time and attendance, and that's the value of like really coming at it from a badge centric approach. So I love that you're like the culprit of many lost badges.
I'm the culprit. I need a 12-step program for chronic card holders. And if you know of one, please share it with me. So Yeah, I am the absolute worst. So, and I love that you do that because I think it's, again, it's first of all, Lindsay, one of the things that I loved about you initially, but I've loved about your company, I'm a huge follower, or Robbie and the team, is the culture, right? And, you and I are big fans of culture. We're
Mhm.
big fans of promoting that culture. And when you can deliver the value of the product with it, it's just a home run. It's just a
Yeah.
home run. So I love that.
Well, I appreciate that little hype session from you, Angie. Thank you.
Hey, listen, and you won't say it, but I'm going to say it. Every access control meeting I ever went on and can still go on, I send them the Badge Pass book by Lindsay Martin-Nez, that you can find on Amazon, by the way. And so it was one of my favorite things when we talk about a thank you, right, with Jesse Cole. That was my little note on the book, and then my thank yous that I would send to customers.
Well,
So
that's so sweet of you. Well, thank
yeah,
you. I
yeah.
love that.
And
Um,
we did not rehearse any of this, just so.
no, I know it's gonna sound like we did though, honestly. Like, but that's the fun part about being with you, Angie. You just get me. So this has been fun. I love chatting with you, and I could honestly chat sales advice in the industry all day, but we try to keep it relatively short and sweet. But my favorite segment of the whole podcast is coming up now, and that is Badge Blitz. So I did send you some of the questions that I asked you in the interview in advance, so I wasn't just like totally throwing you curveballs. But for this, I do not. So for 60 seconds, I'm gonna hit you with some rapid fire questions. And your goal is just to give me your immediate gut reaction, which you should be good at. But just like one sentence or less, these don't have to be long answers, but just go with your gut. Are you prepared? You ready?
You want it? I'm ready.
All right. I got our old school timer. We're ready to go. If you could change lives with one person for one day, who would it be?
Uh, this is gonna sound corny. Oprah, because I would love to learn about and connect in the conversations with the people that she's been able to connect with.
For
So,
sure. What superpower do you wish you had?
oh, patience.
What is your dream vacation destination?
I'm a beach girl. I love the beach. I lived at the beach. Love the beach. So anything, Bora Bora, Bora Bora. There you go.
What would the soundtrack to your life be called?
Oh, I something where I am so blessed, right? I am incredibly blessed.
I love
So
that.
yeah, yeah.
What is your go-to podcast to listen to when you're on a drive or a road trip?
Ah, I have two. Back Porch Theology by Lisa Harper and Craig Groeschel, leadership podcast. Those are my two. Lisa Harper, Back Porch Theology, and Craig Groeschel, who's leadership podcast.
I love that. We have to give both of them a listen now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on and chatting with me today. It was so fun. I love having you as a guest. I really appreciate the time.
Oh, thank you, Lindsay. You're awesome. Keep just being amazing. And thanks for allowing me a few minutes just to share my whatever I share. Right? So,
Well, thank you again, Angie. You're the best. And to everybody else, we hope you'll join us next time as we take you beyond the badge.